Hi, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sandra Batson. Your top stories today. Edmonton police have issued a Canada-wide warrant for a man they say is linked to 3 drive-by shootings. Investigators say it's connected to a series of extortion attempts targeting South Asian home builders in the Edmonton area.
First shooting on December 21st took place here in Edmonton, in Cybecker, where shots were fired at a residence occupied by a family of 6, including 2 children. The shots were fired directly at a bedroom window where the homeowners were sleeping. It was a miracle no one was struck. The second, on Christmas Eve, took place in Winnipeg, and we have surveillance video of this event. The third shooting took place December 29th in Sherwood Park, where shots were fired at an unoccupied home. The homeowners did not receive threats or extortion attempts, and we believe this shooting was directed at the wrong house.
Canada-wide warrants have now been issued for 19-year-old Arjun Sanon. Edmonton police believe that he fled to India on a flight that was booked after the first 2 shootings and that he had been arrested for firearms offenses at the end of last year, but he had been out on bail. Edmonton Public School Board trustees voted today to have police officers return to their schools. Travis McEwen has more.
A nearly full meeting to discuss if Edmonton police officers should work in the city's public schools.
From the engagement session reports, there is support for police to have a formal role in schools.
Around 35 people spoke in favor or against having officers formally return to school.
The effectiveness of the SRO program has not been proven by the Edmonton Police Service.
4 years ago, the board called for a review of the School Resource Officer, or SRO, program. The superintendent then suspended the program. The board carried out engagement sessions with students, staff, and community members. Based on results, a trustee called to have officers return to schools. After an afternoon of discussion, the vote was split with 1 remaining vote. The board chair, who platformed against the program before she became a trustee, she voted in favor.
One thing we talked about was accountability in any formal relationship with police and Edmonton Public, and the need for data to be gathered. So that includes things like potentially weapons or other things that the public as well as the Board of Trustees wants to be capturing so that we can monitor the situation and keep everybody accountable.
This isn't a result of an open mind. It's a result of pressure. It's a result of fear.
My kids are not an experiment. They're not your guinea pigs to be able to see whether an SRO can pull off this superhuman task.
There's not a lot of detail on if this will be a full return of the SRO program or something different, but the superintendent will work with police and decide on the details. Travis McEwen, CBC News, Edmonton.
Well, recruiting more police officers here in our city has been a challenge. Chief Dale McPhee spoke to our Mark Connolly of Edmonton AM about recruitment issues.
We've heard about police recruiting problems not only in Edmonton but across Canada. Has being a police officer become less desirable in the last few years?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you track this, obviously, when you start to look back to, the events in Minneapolis, then the whole defund, detask movement, and then compounded with the challenges of human services had when COVID came. I'm happy to say, from the work of our people, we're trending in a very positive direction, quite a bit ahead of a lot of parts of the country.
Now, the proportion of female applicants is still quite low, only about 15% last year. Is that something that you worry about or something you focus on?
Overall, we're pretty close to 20%. Do we want to increase that? Do we want to increase our diversity? Absolutely. When you add our civilians, it's quite a bit higher than that. But one of the things that we're happy to report that in the last 3 or 4 years, 58% roughly on average was last year, been in that 60% range is all of our candidates are very diverse. So diverse, obviously, race, gender, thinking is our definition of that. Their life experiences.
How do you get thinking?
Well, I mean,
diversity?
Training, right? Like your education. Do you have real life experience? Are you, some come from, let's say, an electrician. Some might be a plumber, but others might be, have a master's degree in schooling. So it's diversity is what we're thinking in relation to that, ensuring that you're not hiring everybody the same. Very much a positive story right now, but the work is still, there's lots of work yet to be done.
All right, and good news for Saturday shoppers. The Farmers Market is returning to the downtown area. The Farmers Market Association declared bankruptcy earlier this year, but thanks to a special grant, the Edmonton Downtown Business Association is bringing it back.
We do not want this to be 1 year back on 104th Street and then have it disappear again. So we're going to make sure with our partners at the city and with the vendor community that the downtown farmers market is here to stay, that it stays on 104th Street. There are some plans underway for a new nonprofit potentially to form. And if that doesn't work out, we are prepared to continue managing the market permanently if that's necessary.
All right, and the market will be held on Saturdays on 104th Street between Jasper Ave and 102 Ave, and it will run from June 15th to October 12th. And that is it for now. For more local news, just visit our website at cbc.ca/Edmonton. We'll see you again.